I thought I needed to catch up on what's been going on. I have to say, I haven't had even much social media open, let alone traditional media. It's just been a bit of a funny week, I think. I'm in Australia, in the Blue Mountains, and Victoria's had to go back into lockdown with 17 something new cases a day, so it's all been a bit tricky. But anyway, let's have a look at the news for this week. And what I'll do is, I think I'll just show you my dashboard and we'll work our way through things from there if you like. I've got a new camera, by the way. Let me know what you think of it. So this is my Feedly, and I've set up all the original sources, so the Facebooks and the Twitters and all of their press rooms and things like that in my social media monitoring dashboard so that I can keep up to date on news. And I've got lots and lots of different folders here. So I've got news on big data and Australian YouTube and Facebook pages that I'm monitoring, and it's because a lot of the other social media tools don't let me bring everything in, like the top 100 blogs or something. So that's why I like this tool. So let's have a look at some of the news. Twitter users are more likely to outrage when it's cold outside. Angry tweets are most frequent on Mondays. I don't like Mondays. Everybody sing along with me. I guess only like 2 people out there probably remember that song. I don't know. They're not angry on the weekend. I think that depends. In my communities, they can get quite angry on the weekend compared to during the week. And also, friends don't let friends drink and tweet. That's all I'm going to say. So it's pretty cold outside. We're waiting for the snow. And that's why I'm rugged up. I've got a heater on, I've got a little hat here, and the room's gradually warming up, but I might go an angry tweet just to prove a point, I think. So let me just see. Increase in cooler weather. I wonder if it's because people don't go outside as much when it's cold. I don't know. Out of 24 million people, 18 million are active on social media. Yeah, well, that's because Facebook gives you real-time analytics that show 19 million are active on social media each month within 28 days. And 19% use Twitter. That's not exactly true, but one of the issues with monitoring Twitter is you can't measure the API usage, only website usage. So if people are using Twitter on their browser, you can measure it, but only Twitter knows the number of people coming through directly through the Twitter app, through the API. Now, if you're a Hootsuite or someone, you can measure how many people are accessing Twitter from your app, but that mix of app and browser is a difficult analytic to get hold of. And trust me, I've tried. I've even written to Twitter numerous times, but I think they won't tell us because of the issues. There's a lot of dead accounts. There's also a lot of people who only log in to see what Donald Trump has said. No, let's move on. So the Voller case keeps giving media companies reasons to hate social media. So this is news article number 2. And if you're not familiar with the Voller case, and yes, James Griffith, if you've watched West Wing, then you know that song, I Hate Mondays. Was it the Boomtown Rats? Yeah, I think it was. And it was around the time of Live Aid or something. But the Voller case is where media companies are now made to be held accountable for hate speech on their page. And we're going to get to hate speech in a moment, but I absolutely support the Voller case. Media companies have had a past for way too long of not having to have social media managers keep the community safe. I'm not going to wear this jacket again. It keeps banging on the table and making nasty noises. But the Voller case holds companies accountable for defamation on the page. And this is the direction forward. Facebook are not responsible for hate speech. People are responsible for hate speech. And then on top of that, the social media manager is responsible for the community, the safety of the community, and how clean the channel is, basically. And if media companies can't manage the comments, then they shouldn't be using social media in this way to promote their content. So as somebody who's managed pages with millions and millions of followers, we get 16,000 comments during an ad break. I can tell you now, what I'm asking for is difficult, but not impossible. Absolutely. Let's keep community clean. This is not a free-for-all. And if people themselves won't censor themselves, then we need to find a way of doing that. I think Facebook could have a few tools. For instance, in groups now you can set it so that you can approve the comments. You can, on YouTube, block certain keywords, racist keywords and things like that. Let's keep going. Somebody else talking about the Voller case. And absolutely, media's always had a voice, traditional media, of lobbying a bomb into the community and walking away. If it bleeds, it leads. Those clickbait headlines, those really negative things. And when you have that voice, that's the voice you get back. If you're a smart, inspirational kind of voice, you'll get smart, inspirational commenters. And if you're a trolly, troll media voice, then you're going to get trolling back. So time to clean up that act. Young Australians will abandon Facebook if it doesn't do more to combat hate speech. Rubbish. B&T. No, absolutely not. The Daily Oz. No, sorry. I don't know who Sam Kozlowski and Zara Seidler are, but they're wrong. Facebook is the telephone, and the channels within Facebook need to clean up their act. But Facebook themselves absolutely should not do anything. They should give us tools so we can manage it. But the minute you give Australian government the tools to manage hate speech, you also have to give the same tools to China, who may see different hate speech, and Saudi, who may see different hate speech. This really concerns me. The American movement Stop Hate for Profit, which is educating Coca-Cola and Adidas and Unilever that they can bring in the cancel culture to get the political results that they want. And I do not want to encourage companies, American companies, to be the moral guardians of free speech globally. And that Stop Hate for Profit, it's going to become cancel culture for profit. So in the same way that mining companies have come in and hijacked conversations, people don't even realize that some of the green energy pages are actually run by mining companies. There is a lot of stuff that could happen in this area that concerns me. Facebook, if you're listening, Mark Zuckerberg, if you're listening, you're on the right track. The minute you start censoring around this, there's going to be issues. But I will ask you to give us social media managers better tools so that we can keep within our own communities free and clean. This is going to be quite a big issue. A big issue. I do not want American corporates. I'll just give you an example. They've already blocked ads from the Liberal Party in Australia. That means an American company is refusing ads from the leading political party in Australia currently. And we won't have globalization, we'll have Americanization. Love my American friends, not saying anything against that, but you have your own culture and your own rules, and we can't bring that into Australia. I want to categorically say hate speech is vile. And as a social media manager, as an admin, it's nasty, it's horrible, and managing it is that and porn. I never want to see certain things ever again. But I do not want American companies censoring globally. Sharing our actions. So this is actually from Facebook for Business. This is their press. What are they talking about here? They're updating their principles and policies. Give people a voice. People deserve to be heard and have a voice, even when that means defending the right of people we disagree with. Which could be actually valuable, because we didn't know how shitty people could be until social media came along. If you don't go and sit in the pub, the other pub, not your pub, but the other pub, the one, not the pub where people like you go to, but the pub where people not like you go to, that's going to be an issue. You won't necessarily know what people are saying. I wish they had said more about international, because reinforcing Western culture thinks that their laws are the correct ones and they should be enforced, but the laws in the Middle East and the laws in Asia shouldn't be enforced. I do think that advertising should be transparent and it should be safe and civil. It should not divide and discriminate, which is why cancelling the Liberal Party ads was so interesting to me. I know that they come under YMYL and what's that other, what does Facebook call it again? Let's go into the ad library. Search issues, elections and politics. So I'll just see if there's any that have been cancelled lately by any of the parties. Liberal Party. Is it Liberal Party of Australia or is it Australia Liberal Party? Oh, let's just do the South Australian one. And they don't have any ads at the moment. Active or inactive. Liberal Party of Australia Facebook page. You can tell I haven't prepared this. Liberal Party Australia, one word. There's actually a background way of doing this, and you have to go into the source code and get the page ID, and then you can put that in here. So sometimes I just simply can't find the page. Oh, interesting. They're not advertising at all at the moment. All ads. Oh, they are. But not under issues, elections and politics. Okay, how can an ad from the Liberal Party of Australia not be marked as a political ad? That's why they get cancelled. So, that's interesting. So here we have Facebook, an American company, saying that advertising must be marked as politically sensitive, and Google has theirs under YMYL, and this is Facebook's under politics, elections and issues. And the Liberal Party doesn't do that, and sometimes they get blocked and sometimes they don't. I wonder if we actually go into Instagram. Anyway, you get the general idea. Let's keep moving, otherwise we're going to be here all morning, and it's a Saturday morning and you've got better things to do and I've got better things to do. Just have a look at the comments. Okay. 30 FPS. And my bit rates. 4 megabits per second. Seriously, NBN? My upload is 4 megabits. Anyway, let's keep going. Is that all I had for us? Oh, okay. I wanted to have a look at, for the news of the week, at the content marketing for the channels, not promotions, so no new products and things like that. And LinkedIn is an interesting one. I have an issue with all of these platforms on YouTube, because what they do is they create around 30 videos and they do what's called dumping, social media dumping. They take all 30 videos and they put them up all at once. LinkedIn, Google does it on their own platform, Twitter does it on YouTube, LinkedIn does it on YouTube, Facebook does it on YouTube. And what happens when you do social media dumping? I should do a whole tutorial on this, but people see a long list of 20 or 30 videos and then they have to decide which one they're going to watch. And then there's nothing else for a couple of months, but by then it's all gone, it's all hidden. If they did a content calendar or took their social media calendar and split it up into the different calendars and took the content calendar part and then decided to do one video a day or one video over a couple of days, those 20 videos would see them through until they had batched their next lot of videos. Because what happens with these companies is usually they get a film team in and they spend a month writing, and then they spend a couple of weeks filming, and then they spend a week or two editing. And it's really ends up being really crappy because they've done 20 great videos, but people don't sit and binge 20 videos. You wouldn't binge on 20 videos from me. You might watch 1 or 2, 3, but I wouldn't watch more than 3 of my own videos. So I wanted to see what's going on. Let's have a look. Just switch back to this. So everybody's addressing the pandemic. Everybody's telling us what we should and we shouldn't do. A more inclusive future for the Black community. I'm really pleased it's on the agenda. Do I think that the values versus the statements will marry up? We'll see. LinkedIn. How many Black people do you have on your board of directors? How many women do you have? I don't know. That might be a good exercise. Somebody go and look that up for me. I'm telling you now, it's not going to be high enough. Pushing the Microsoft, so it is content with promotions. It's educating about the brand. The economic graph is the social graph. So if you're familiar with the data sets, you want to know what the data sets are and then how they're mapped out in the graph. So by saying, I'm on the screen, aren't I? Yes. By saying, let's make that a bit bigger for you. The LinkedIn economic graph, they're mapping 690 million professionals. That must be LinkedIn members. 50 million companies, 11 million job listings. Would you like a video on Monday mornings, Twite and Burley, which means I'd have to get up even earlier, but social media jobs for the week? That's an option. Monday mornings. As you're going into work thinking, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to go find another job, there'd be my little face walking you through the jobs of the week. I don't know. 36,000 skills, 90,000 schools on LinkedIn. The schools part is important because LinkedIn has shifted away from the older demographic. I mean, I remember when they started up in, when did we join? 2004, 2005? That's when I joined anyway. It was 45 and older. So those people are now, I am 20 years older. Wow. So now they're looking at schools because they have that issue of an aging demographic, psychographic. So they're using the algorithms. Oh, they're making 10 LinkedIn learning pathways free. And they are become a software developer, become a sales representative, project manager. Fun fact, I have a graduate certificate in project management from when I used to work in engineering and IT. Do I use it? No. It was supposed to help me become more organised. It did. I know how to crash timelines and Gantt charts, and I don't use them, no. Anyway, enough about me. Project manager, become a project manager. Customer service, digital marketer. So there's no become a social media manager on here, or social media strategist, or any of the other different kind of social media jobs, but I'm guessing digital marketing's part of that. And it's a good idea to know more, because as social media people, you would know that your clients want to integrate social media with their website. So knowing some web development stuff is a good idea. You don't need to know the full API integrations, but a little bit of WordPress, plugins, never goes astray. Digital marketing, knowing MailChimp and ActiveCampaign and all of those, and how to write content for them and how to build your list. Often as a social media manager, that's a question that's asked. Can I use social media to build my email list? So there's a few things that I think would be useful. And good on them. I still think they've got 10 learning pathways, so that you have to look at the 50 other learning pathways. If you're not familiar with learning pathways, if you do a Cert 4 certificate in adult education, which I actually did quite a few years ago now, you build your courses towards particular outcomes. I don't. It's extremely old-fashioned. Nano courses and nano pathways are the way forward. But if you're working in corporate training, or you're working in some of the other areas, you'll notice very quickly that this generation coming through now, they're less interested in the learning pathways of a TAFE course leading them into a full-blown diploma, which then leads them into a degree. It's more of, I'm going to do a smorgasbord of small nano courses and then pick up more stuff as I go along. So most of my online courses and my Zoom sessions are focused on not a learning pathway towards becoming a social media manager, but how to write a social media strategy for government is one, and then how to do messenger ads. And I let people create their own. I try to give them guidance with the learning pathways, and I absolutely do use learning pathways for corporate training, like ongoing training, because corporates in particular want to know this and then this and then this and then this. And also people don't know where to start. They don't know what they don't know. But and I think that's what they're doing with their learning pathways. It's if you come from traditional retail, online sales or anything like that, learning pathways is the upsell. Same thing. Okay, so is there anything else that we need to cover? I'm not sure. I've been live 23 minutes. I think that is more than enough of me for the day. Paul Barron, Election Day in Eden Monaro might have something to do with it. Yes. I only found out about that last night. I don't know what the future of advertising is in the political sphere. I know that the platforms are struggling with the fact that we don't have regulations around it. As an example, Truth in Advertising is a regulation for businesses and corporates and things like that, and politicians get an exemption. So Australia actually exempts politicians and political parties from truthiness, and then the politicians get their knickers in a knot when Facebook doesn't stop untruthful, inaccurate information from being passed around. I was looking today on Australian social media. I know I said I was going to finish, but hey-ho. Health officials raised conspiracy concerns as 10,000 refused coronavirus tests in Victoria. So there's a lot of misinformation out there. I'm sorry. I didn't show it to you. This one here. If you want to go and look it up, it's on SBS News. So there's a lot of misinformation out there around the coronavirus test. And I'm assuming it's misinformation. I haven't read the article. Need to read the article. 7,000 people have engaged with it, so it's trending. But the challenge is you can't tell Australian citizens you have to tell the truth on social media, and we want Facebook to block them if they tell fibs or I'm not talking about hate speech, I'm talking about pure misinformation. And then, oh, by the way, politicians are allowed to. It's just, you can't do that. You can't have the leaders in a community fibbing and then try and say, oh, but the rest of the community can't comment on that or reject it or discuss it or do anything else. So anyway, waffling now. Hope you found this interesting. If you would like social media jobs on Monday, please let me know. Hi Bishop on Twitter, Periscope. Yes, I'm fine, thank you. But if you would like a social media jobs on Monday morning, please let me know. It's something I'm interested in researching and then doing on Monday mornings so that people know some cool jobs that they could apply for as they head into their old job. Anyway, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.